Plaintiff Sandra Moreau says she took the defendant's dog in while the defendant was busy caring for her ailing mother, and the defendant agreed to pay for any dog-related expenses. However, Sandra claims the defendant never paid for the expenses and then stole the dog back after leaving her with Sandra for months, so she's suing. Defendant Megan Tran admits that she asked Sandra to take in her dog while she was busy caring for her mother. However, when she asked for the dog back, Sandra refused to return her, so she had no choice but to steal the dog back.
Tell me what's going on.
This is Zoe. Zoe is a beautiful dachshund. She's 2 years old, and in May, at Mrs. Tran's request, I agreed to take care of Zoe.
May of what year?
May of 2011.
You agreed to take care of the dog.
I did. Miss Tran's mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and has since passed away. And Miss Tran asked if I could please take care of Zoe, as she didn't have anybody else. And she agreed to cover the cost.
Take care of her for good?
For a few months, she said. For a few months, until whatever happened with her mother happened. And agreed to pay for vet care and medications and the cost of food, apparel, and such.
Sure.
Plaintiff Sandra Moreau says she took in the defendant's dog while the defendant cared for her ailing mother. But the defendant claims she was forced to steal the dog back because Sandra refused to return her.
And then what?
In July, her mother unfortunately passed away. And at that time, Ms. Tran asked if she could have Zoe back for Faith, that her ex-husband would cover whatever costs had been incurred at this time, as she couldn't afford to. And I said, that's fine. Otherwise, we can work out a payment plan. When I brought Zoe over that evening, I said, aren't you excited to see Zoe? And Faith said, I don't care. I don't care. Walked away and was pretty much angry with the dog and the situation. At that time, I told Ms. Tran that because of the limited activity between and interaction between Zoe and her family, that as of October 1st, if there was no communication, the kids don't come over, walk the dog, see the dog, ask to see the dog, which I was agreeing to, that I would assume ownership. So when October 1st came...
And she agreed to that?
She did, verbally.
She said, you can keep my dog if my kids don't visit the dog.
Correct.
It's not true, Your Honor.
You said to her, if your kids don't come play with this dog, he's mine. You agree?
Yes.
Agree.
Yes. So October 1st came and went.
Hold on, man. Why don't you tell me about this scenario?
Okay. The reason why we're only here is because she didn't want to give the dog back to us, you know.
She said she gave you a time limit?
No, there's no time limit.
And if you didn't come and play with that dog?
No,
or
Your
walk
Honor.
that dog?
No, Your Honor.
That the dog would be hers?
No. My mother asked me if I could, you know, take the dog out of the house because she's really sick. And that's all she asked me. And she said, okay, fine. I asked Sandra. At the time, she's a friend and a neighbor, you know, right next to me. And she said, okay, you know, if that's your choice, I'll be fine with it. And don't worry about anything. Okay. She got some...
You agreed to pay for the expenses?
Yes, at the time,
good.
Yes.
And so your mom passed. Sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
And then what? What was discussed regarding her caring?
She said, don't worry about it.
I'll care for the dog?
I'll care for the dog.
Until when?
Until when? I said, when I'm ready, cleaning up my stuff, you know, my mom's stuff. And then my daughter even asked me, when am I going to get the dog back, you know?
Did she ever refuse to give the dog back?
At the time, you know, Faith would visit her, you know. And then she only gave a time limit of half an hour. She said, you got to bring the dog back in half an hour.
She would let you have a 30-minute visitation.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
30-minute visitation with your own dog.
Yes.
What about this final deadline? Was there ever
There's no deadline, Your Honor.
You all never discussed a time period?
No.
Your Honor, I have a police report that Ms. Tran filed on October 18th.
Let's see it, please. Saying what?
that at this time she felt she was stable enough to resume care of Zoe, but also admits in there that they had no contact with Zoe. And
That's not the issue, ma'am. Whether they walked the dog, whether they came to play with the dog or anything else. You're really just trying to keep this dog. But you know
what,
if
Your
it
Honor?
were, you're trying to take somebody's dog, ma'am. That's what you're trying to do. Trying to take this woman's dog.
Plaintiff Sandra Moreau says she took in the defendant's dog while the defendant cared for her ailing mother. But the defendant claims she was forced to steal the dog back because Sandra refused to return her.
Who has the dog now?
We do.
Well, how'd you get the dog back?
We have to steal her back from her backyard.
Oh, okay. You stole your dog back. All right. You stole your dog back. All right. All right, ma'am. So you're suing for the dog expenses you incurred before they stole it.
yes, Your Honor.
And your emotional distress is because they stole it. They
Yes.
stole what you believe was your dog because they were late in picking it up.
Picking it up, yes, Your Honor.
All right. And you say that was a contract.
Yes, I do.
And you
Your
have
Honor.
no evidence to prove that was a contract.
I have 3 letters. One is from her mother saying she will give you money for the food.
Please read to me something that proves the central issue today, and that is that you could have her dog. I need that evidence. Do you have that to read?
I do. I don't have it verbatim.
Thank you very much. I'll grant you your expenses, and what are those?
I have expenses for the vet and food.
Let me have it, please. All right. Dog expenses, $213.17. Here's your judgment and your claim for emotional distress. I'm not going to grant. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I would really have loved to have Zoe still to be a playmate for my dogs because she's more to me than a possession. She's a being that I actually love very much.
I have to ask you for a favor. And then you took advantage of that, of having my dog, not giving it to me.
I took advantage
Yes,
of
you did.
taking care of your dog,
Yes, you did.
getting her the proper medication.
No, you just want to
feeding the
keep the dog. I know that.